Hey, fun people! Welcome back to Everything Aja. And if you're new here, hello. My name is Aja. I am a curriculum specialist slash former administrator, but I've also been in education over 10 years. Not only have I helped create my own minds and shape minds, but I've also been an administrator helping teachers and parents over the last 7 years. So, welcome. If you're new here, if you're not new here, welcome back. I am so excited about today's live because we are talking about summer tips in order to have an easy school year. So, what you can do right now during the summer in order to make the upcoming school year the best school year. I want you to say in the chat box, next school year will be the best school year. I'm so excited. So, I'm going to give you three really effective things that you can do during the summer so that your upcoming school year will be nice and easy for you. I have seen so many memes on the internet all talking about how ridiculous and crazy it has been teaching in the 2021 through 2022 school year. So let me know, what was your experience this year in the classroom? Did it drive you nuts? What has it been like? Are you excited that it is officially summer vacation? I know for most of y'all, you're already on vacation. Some people are doing summer school. But let me know, how was it last year? And I want you to say that next year will be the best school year. So let's talk about what is the summer. And the first thing that has to happen in order for next year to be the best year is you have to have a mind shift change. There has to be a change in your mind. There has to be a change of how you actually view and you look at summer vacation. You see, during the summer, there's different things that we tend to do. Sometimes we take the time to just rejuvenate and relax. Some of us get refreshed. You use that time for family time or me time. Let me know, what are your summer plans? What do you normally do in the summer? But in addition to like personal things that we can use the summer for, there's also things such as preparation time. And in preparing for the upcoming school year, this is the key time. It's time that you won't get back. It's time without the pressure and the politics of admin and the children. And you can literally just use this time to prepare for the next school year so that next school year will be the best school year. I see you in the chat box. You said family time. Okay, so you use the summer for family time. And that's okay. It's great to know what you want to use the summer for. I know I love to do like vacations, family vacations over the summer. That's me. But you can also, there are things that schools do, such as like professional development or summer planning or even classroom setup. So what are your plans for the summer? How do you view the summer? And I think we need to change our mind shift of how we see the summer. You see, summertime can be the time for both things. It can be the time for you to get rejuvenated, but it can also be the time for you to prepare for the next school year. Have you ever been in the middle of back to school season and you're running around like a chicken with their head cut off? This is because you did not plan your summers wisely. And I'm sorry to tell y'all. But when the summer is done right, then your upcoming school year can be easy and systematic and effective. So let's jump into our first tip. And the first tip for you to do over the summer in order to have an easy school year coming up is to just set up your classroom for success. Just set up your classroom for success. There's three different parts when I say that, and let's dive into each one of those. The first thing is classroom setup. Classroom setup. You want to think about how you want your small groups and your whole groups to run. Will you give assigned seats? Yes or no? And I know it may sound like, oh my goodness, Aja, I just broke out for the summer vacation. I don't want to think about classroom setup, but these are the things. If you think and plan for them now, then come August or September, whenever it is you go back, that will be easy for you. And you won't have to waste so much time in August and September trying to figure out what to do. So, tip number one, classroom setup. The second thing you can do is think about your classroom management. What kind of routines or transitions do you want to do? Right now, most of you guys are coming out of just literally teaching an entire school year. So, you know what worked and what did not work in your classroom this year. I want you to just take a moment and think about what works and keep that going. Think about what didn't work and get rid of it and do something else. So this is your time to really just kind of sit back and reflect. Can you do that while you're at the beach taking your me time? Absolutely. If you want to, drink on the beach and then think about your classroom management, I want you to just think about what worked during the school year so that you will know what you want to change in the upcoming school year. You also want to think about protocols. And when I say protocols, I mean literally, what would be the protocol of how you want children to transition from, coming in the mornings? How do you want them to go from small group to whole group? How do you want them to transition? Where do you want their materials to be? What do you want different groups? Maybe last year, your classroom management was all over the place. Do I have anybody that's like, hey, I struggle with classroom management? Let me know. I know after my first year of teaching, I was like, never again. They won't get me. I spent my entire summer creating new protocols. And I had a teacher, we did this. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Harry Wong. So amazing. He has a book, the first days of school. But he actually came, and then after that, we did this little workshop. And this veteran teacher, I was like, "Do you really plan all of this?" She said, "Absolutely." Absolutely. I plan out every single thing I want the children to do. So if this school year was rough for you, I want you to just take some time. You can be at the beach doing this in your me time, but take some time and literally think about, okay, how do you want even the materials to go? Do you want all the materials to be at arm's reach of children so that they don't have to transition? Do you want more control of it? How do you want that to flow? What will be your protocols? The other thing you can do is think about your classroom theme or decor. This is the fun thing, and this seems to be the main thing that we always jump to over the summer. It seems like every summer you see teachers eager and excited. They're at the stores. They are creating sorry about that. They're creating what they want to do in their classroom and they're buying all these little cutesy stuff, but whew, I said all that to say, I want you to think about what is the feel that you are going for. If you think about the environment and how you want the children to feel in your classroom or your homeschooling room, then take the feeling that you want them to have and then base your decor around that. I know we like the cutesy stuff. We like to go to the store and get what matches. But do you have a feel? How do you want children to feel? So, tip number one is to get your classroom ready over the summer in order to have and transition to an easier school year because I am determined that next school year will be your best school year. I'm telling you, I'm speaking into existence. I believe it in my heart. So, tip number one, I want you to think about classroom management, whole group and small group. Do you need assigned seats? What do you kind of want the room to look like? How would you want your room to be set up? Go ahead, put that on a sheet of paper. You can do this while you're on the beach. It won't take you 5 minutes, but it will make for an easier back to school season. You can also think about classroom management, your routines, your transitions, your protocols. What do you want children to do? I'm telling you, if you over plan over the summer, then school will be easier. Back to school will be easier because you'll have all these laid out. And then also what kind of feel or feeling do you want children to have? Hello, hello. He said, I work in middle school and I stayed on my routines, even if other teachers did not stick to theirs. Shout out to that. They did not like it, but they knew that what was required of them. Good. So you should have seen your children be able to rise to their expectations. And I feel like it's so hard to do that, especially when you're going in and out of like breaks, like Christmas break, fall break. So I definitely commend you for that. And I'm glad you did not bend. I'm glad you did not bend. So do you know what worked and what did not work? So I want you to take what worked and double down on what worked for your classroom this year. Yes, every grade level and every year every group of students will be different, of course. But as far as what works and what doesn't work for you and how you want your classroom, I feel like each year it should get a little easier. So thank you for sharing that in the chat box. Tip number two, and y'all let me know, do you guys have another tip? Definitely share them down below. This is a community, so share any other tips that you have that we can do over the summer in order to have an easier school year next year. The second tip I came up with was prepare for the first week of school. Oftentimes, the first week of school is the most stressful time of the school year. That first week, boy, getting to know your kids, making sure they get home safely, that you understand who they are, get a feel for them, and like how you stated with holding on to your routines or transitions. If you do not lay down the law, say lay down the law, that first week of school, it's a wrap. You can kiss the rest of the school year goodbye, because the first year of the first year, I mean, sorry, the first week of the school year is the most stressful time of the school year. And it's definitely the time that children are the most excited. They've been sitting at home all year. They're coming full of energy and full of just woo, y'all know. So the more you can prepare for that first week of school over the summer, the easier it will be for you to transition into the best school year, because like I stated, next school year will be the best school year. I definitely believe that in my heart. So three things that can help you with that would be to do icebreakers that first week of school. You want to get to know your students and build a positive community. If your mindset is on, okay, let me just build a community with them, let me build relationships with them, then it'll be a lot easier to teach them throughout the school year. But if you start the school year and all you're think that first week and all you're thinking about academics, I mean, y'all know I am definitely an academic guru. I love it. I love teaching to my core, but it is crucial that you build positive relationships that first week of school, and definitely get to know your students. Play icebreakers. I play games my entire first week. I'm always encouraging you guys. I've been sharing first week of school games on here, because the more you get to know your students that first week, the easier it will be to transition into the next school year. The next tip I can give you within preparing for that first week of school is to prepare for the rollout of rules. We talked about in the first tip to think about the kind of rules and the kind of structure that you would want in place for next school year. But also need to realize how you want to roll those rules out. How do you want to roll out the routines and transitions? Please, please, please don't give all your kids all the rules, transitions, everything the first day of school. They're going to be exhausted. You're going to have horrible behavior. They're not going to remember anything you said. They're going to be all over the place and you're going to regret it. So think about how you want to roll it out. I strongly suggest that you roll it out one little bit at a time. So like that first day of school, all the major routines like going to the bathroom, coming in, dismissal, and lunchroom, like all those main, the big parts. And then, like, as the week goes on, I want you to just kind of lay out, okay, the first day of school, I want to go over these different procedures. The next day of school, I want to go over these procedures. Maybe that last day of school, that's when you do all the minor things like homework and transitioning from one thing to another and all of that good stuff. But definitely think about how do you want to roll out routines and roll out transitions and protocols and rules. And if you do that in the summer, then the first going week of going back to school will be a lot easier for you, I promise. And it doesn't take a lot during the summer. Your mind is actually as free as it's ever going to be throughout the school year. So the more you prepare in the summer, the easier it will be. The next thing you want to prepare and just think about is readiness. Now, a lot of school districts require different universal screeners, and this doesn't require anything of you. You just put the kids on a computer, or maybe you're at a school that you have to provide the pre-test. Whatever it is, if you already have it and you've already looked at it over the summer, then when you go through the school year and go through that first week of school, it will be easier for you to transition into the next year. All right, so let's jump into tip number 3. And remember, if you have any other tips that teachers can do over the summer so that the next school year can be easier for them, definitely drop them down below in the chat box. We are a community, so yeah, share your ideas. Please share. Please share. These are just the ones that I came up with that I love doing over the summer, especially the summer decor. That seems to be the thing we all love to do is the cutesy stuff. But the planning out routines and planning out transitions is so crucial, so that when you start off with authority, you start off with the connection in that environment that you want them to have. So tip number 3 is to plan for ways to make next year easy. And you might be saying, Asha, isn't that the entire point of this video? But yeah, yes. But I'm here to tell you that if you plan out ways that next year can be easy, if you plan out ways to work smarter, not harder, and you do that now during your summer vacation, then next school year, when you get to it, it will be a lot easier because you've already thought about it. Have you ever thought about a puzzle? If you start thinking, or like a what's called the Rubik's cubes, if you just take the time to strategically think about how to solve the puzzle or how to solve the Rubik's cube, then when you actually go to solving it and going to do it, it will be 7 times easier because you already have a plan, you already have a layout and a direction already in place. Hey, so tip number 3, plan for ways to make next year easier. And you can do that by doing 3 things. The first thing I would love for you to do is definitely think about your ideal week schedule. And if you're watching the replay, definitely pause this and do this while I'm about to say it. So, and share it in the chat box. I would love to hear, what is your ideal week? One thing I always teach all my students and clients in my Teaching by Design program is we plan what our weeks will look like. Like, what days do we want off? I love y'all. I love planning really fun lessons, but I hate it in my heart when teachers spend their entire weekends planning and grading. I hate it. I hate it. Like, we has to be a work life balance. There has to be a work life balance. I've been in education over 10 years, and yes, I get it. Sometimes you may have to bring your work home, but I'm not going back. I'm not going back to working on the weekends. Like, Saturday is my me time. That's my off day, period. You said pre-record the hard lessons for students to review. Oh, I love that one. Pre-record the hard lessons for students to review in the classroom during your free time. It frees you up for many other things you need to do. I love that one. That's a great tip. And while we have time over the summer, hey, you can like really, because if you're especially if you're teaching the same thing the next year, that means you already know the difficult concepts, and majority of the time it's the same things for students. Like, if you had a rough group this year, then 9 times out of 10 I'm sorry, if teaching, let me give you an example, multiplying fractions was difficult, this year, the 9 times out of 10 is probably going to be difficult for the next group of students coming in. So I love that tip. Girl, I'm gonna have to start that one. That was a good one. I love that tip. Look, keep them coming. This is a community. Keep them coming. What are things that teachers can do now during the summer so that next year can be easier? So I love that. That frees up time. That frees up a lot of time. A lot of time. So thanks for sharing that one. The other thing when I was talking about ideal days is also planning days. So you want to think about, when you talk about your ideal week, what days will you want to do all your planning? I always teach my clients to do a planning day, a prep day, and your off days. Period. Plan day, prep day, off days. What days do you want to actually plan your lessons? And that way you'll get in the routine of doing it, and it'll become second nature. Do I have anybody that dreads doing lesson plans? Does anybody dread doing lesson plans? It's probably because you don't have a system in place. And in my program, Teaching by Design, that's the main thing that I teach them, is how to have that system in place so that you can create these engaging lessons that you can work smarter, not harder on, but it doesn't overwhelm you. Because I'm really big on having that balanced life. Right now, you guys are experiencing what it's like to have a little bit of freedom because of summer. Yes. Well, we can have that same freedom throughout the entire school year. So I kind of briefly touched on this, but having systematic systems. I was reading two words. But plan today in order for you to have freedom tomorrow. So what does that mean? That means do perfect example. She shared a tip. If you plan the hard lessons today and recorded them today, that frees you up time for you to do things throughout the school year. So what can you do now that will save you time for later? So definitely think about that and think about, okay, what systems can you have in place now that you won't have to worry about? Are there things that you can plan over the summer while you're sitting there chilling watching your favorite TV show? Can you use this time in order to save some time next year? See, saying great tips in the chat box. Thank you, thank you. Um, so I know even in my program teaching by design, I know I keep mentioning this, but one of the systems that we teach I teach them how to do a year's worth of reading lessons, and throughout the program, by the end of the program, they have you're welcome, baby. They have a year's worth of reading lessons, and I do this because I'm sorry. Yeah, see, parenthood, it never ends. It never ends. But I teach them how to do that because if you plan today, like while they're in their program, you have a whole year's worth of reading lessons for the rest of the school year. So, what can you do today that will free up time throughout the school year? So, plan today for freedom tomorrow. The next thing is systematic instruction. And what I mean by that are I want you to think of what things can kind of run on autopilot. Do you have something that you teach? I know sit in chat, but you teach middle school. I don't know what subject do you teach from middle school? Because I actually used to do eighth grade math. I loved it too. Loved it. I had a the EIP group of eighth grade math students, and then I used to sub for sixth and seventh grade. Woo, that was a lot. Subbing for middle school, boy, that was a lot. I'm sure you guys can imagine what it is like. I've subbed for elementary and middle school, and I'll take elementary any day over middle school subbing, but I did them both. I did them both. Although I will say, when you sub for middle school, you were doing the same thing for every single block. So it was kind of easy, but it made the time seem like it went by so slow. Like especially because you're a sub, so most teachers make you watch a movie. Y'all, you will see the same part of the movie over and over and over again, and you never get to the end of the movie because by then the block is over. But anyway, that's just my personal vent. So shout out to you teaching middle school. But I want you to think about, what do you teach that you kind of do the same thing each and every day or each and every week? And then in order to have a systematic system when it comes to instruction, you then make that thing kind of run on autopilot. So what do you teach that can run on autopilot? I want you to think about that. Like, why you on the beach this summer? I don't know if anybody's going to the beach. Is anybody going to the beach? Because I am dying to go to the beach. I actually want to go to the pool tomorrow, but I am dying to go to the beach. So y'all let me know, what beach are you going to? We're trying to go, or I'm trying to go to Hilton Head in 2 weeks. That's my goal. That's my goal. No hotel has been booked. Nothing has been booked. But my personal goal is to go to Hilton Head in 2 weeks. I'm making it to a beach now. I'm making it to a beach. It has been a few years. Yep, it's been a few years since I've been on a beach. But while you're on the beach, I just want you to think about, like, what could you do in your classroom next year? What is taking up the most time? Do you do something you realize that you're doing the same thing over and over and over again? You said, "Do you going to the beach in LA?" Hey, I'm doing that too. I definitely have a trip planned for LA in July. I'm ready for that too, y'all. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a year. It's been a year. It's been a year. But so good. So while you're on the beach, while you are, you know, chilling on the beach, what can you make on autopilot? And that autopiloted thing is something that you've been doing over and over and over again, and you are just wanting it to be simple. You're like, hey, that's something that I can kind of make run on autopilot. That is something that I realize I'm doing over and over and over again. So I might as well create a system in place. You said you teach sixth grade math and you love it. Woo. And you subbed for elementary and high school and you hated it too. You took a break of middle school during the summer. Okay, so good. You took a break and you subbed. So you get me. You get me. We have both subbed. Subbing is a whole nother thing. Has anybody else subbed and taught? Like you've done both? It is totally different. So sixth grade math. Well, that's good. I did fifth grade for so long. So I mean, I feel like sixth grade was just that next level. But I definitely love that age range. I love that age range. Um, so I want to tell you about an upcoming event. It's actually coming up next Tuesday. I have a free workshop all about giving you the 3 secrets to teaching reading with ease. And in this workshop, you'll learn really how to take this to another level when it comes to reading. You'll learn what everyone gets wrong about teaching reading and what to do instead. You'll also learn the game changing mindset that will literally shift your mind so that your reading instruction can run on autopilot. So I know I talked about the whole autopiloted system a little bit of today, but in that workshop I will show you and I will demonstrate just how you do that in reading. And definitely, I know you say you teach math, you can definitely take the same concepts and apply them to your classroom. So it's definitely worth you checking it out. But because even in the program I do reading and math, but there's ways to make your instruction run on autopilot, and that is the key. That's the key to making this whole thing simple so that you can work smarter and not harder. I hate the teacher burnout. Have y'all seen the rate of teachers leaving right now? It is ridiculous. I was looking at an article recently and it said that 7.2 teachers in New York are quitting this year because there's a big problem that we have in education because so many teachers are overwhelmed with the load and the stress that they have, kind of on them. So if we learn how to just kind of balance ourselves and keep put ourselves first, because mental health is a thing, and that's what I want to teach you guys and show you guys and help. I feel like that is why God has kind of called me to even this YouTube thing, is to help teachers so that we don't feel so overwhelmed, we don't feel so boggled down. And I have a gift, and I've used it, and I've used it in my classroom, and I learned how to make teaching simple and how to make things run on autopilot. And I feel like that is a gift that I can go and show you guys how to do. So in the workshop, I will show you just how to do that, how your reading instruction can run on autopilot. I'll also teach you how to reimagine what is possible so that you can come up with a system that's fun and simple. So if you've heard me today and you're like, oh yeah, I need that. I need that. I need that. I need that. Then you will definitely need to join me in the workshop because that is what we will do. And then I'm also going to learn the one step you can immediately implement in order to achieve high growth with your students while you're working less. I told y'all next year is going to be the best year. That's what we're claiming. We're claiming that next year is our best year, and that is it. So if you're interested, that workshop is next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just dropped the link down in the comments, but it's also down below in the description. Looking in the chat, but you say you sub for elementary school. Woo woo. Yeah, we got a lot of subs in here. We have a lot of subs. Good evening, good evening. Hello, welcome, 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 welcome. We're so glad to have you on this it's evening for me. I don't know where are you guys from. I would love to know. Let me know where you guys from down below in the chat box. It could be morning for you. I don't even know. See, look, I'm just assuming it's evening because it's evening for me. And then I also want to know, we talked about how you can kind of make your summer work for you, make your summer more effective for you. What are some simple tips that you can do now to make next school year an easier school year for you, because this year was rough. I have been seeing it everywhere. Everybody's talking about how rough this school year was. So Lithia Springs, Georgia. Whoop whoop. I'm ATL. Y'all know I'm from Atlanta. So, or not really from Atlanta, but I live in Atlanta. So we're just gonna claim Atlanta, okay? Okay. But let me know what's ahead for you. What are your summer plans? I see that we have people going to the beach in LA. Whoop whoop. So are you going, what kind of tips are you going to implement? Maybe you're teaching summer school. I know one of my friends, she's been teaching summer school this whole entire time. She's like, man, I only had 3 days of a break and I went right back into teaching. But what are your summer plans? And if you're looking for summer activities, if you are teaching summer school, then I definitely suggest you watch my summer school game video. I have an entire game just for you if you are teaching summer school. I give you summer activities for you to play with your students while you're teaching summer school. So I can also link that down below as well. But what are your summer plans and what do you have, going on this summer? Like, I'm interested to know because, like I stated, it's all about being working smarter and out harder, making our summers work for us. Like, let's let our summer work for us so that we are not working for it. I feel like teachers, we deserve so much more. We deserve so much more. I just put the link to that video down below in the chat box as well. And then I also want to know if you are in need of any professional development, definitely spread the word. I'm all about increasing reading achievement with ease. I would love, love, love to connect with you even further. So I can literally come into your buildings and come into your school, or maybe come to you virtually. Definitely reach out. Let me know if you're interested in any professional development. I do professional developments. I've been doing it for years. I love, love, love helping people. So definitely there is my information right there. You said you want to spend more time with family. Oh, good. We have some people spending family time. Yes. I feel like family time is so important. You never Life is so crazy nowadays, and it's so crucial that we put that time in for our loved ones. And New York, okay, I used to live in Long Island. Yeah, well, I was in first grade, but I used to live in Long Island. I was in the first grade when I did, but I mean, I can still claim it, right? I remember I used to walk to school, the snow. Oh my goodness, man. That is what I remember even more about New York is the snow was so high and I was walking to school first grade. But yeah, I was gone by the end of the school year. So I was most of the school year, but I can relate a little bit. I can relate a little bit. But yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. And if you have even if you're watching the replay, you have even more tips of things that people can do now during the summer for next school year to be easier, definitely drop them down below. You said you struggle with having enough time to teach. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, the county gives you 2 hours per day to teach a lesson. That makes sense. You have 55 minutes. You did a student evaluation and they said you were too fast. Okay, so with time, that is one thing that I feel like we have no control over, and especially when we're in the middle of lessons, we always feel like there's never enough time. But what could I mean? You gave a good tip earlier, but you actually have to like I said, it's a mind shift change. So every minute of those 2 hours are crucial for instruction. So one thing I would suggest is definitely doing the videos, having pre-work when they come in. So when they come in, if there was a certain video you wanted them to watch from yesterday, they can immediately join that. Also, small groups may help, even in middle school now. Even in middle school, have you ever done like small groups or rotations? I know one thing I teach in my program in Teaching by Design, I teach teachers how to look at standards differently, because if you understand how standards work, then you'll know kind of what standards are like basic recall standards. And basic recall standards, you don't technically have to teach. You can facilitate the lesson so that the kids, are actually teaching themselves, and that can help you as well. The other thing you could do for standards and things that you know that you really have to do, is like you said, to go ahead and have them like pre-recorded and so forth, because your time is so limited. And I know in middle school it's even more limited because you don't have the kids all day, so you can't just kind of come back. Also, I know in middle school there's a lot of transitions, in and out the classrooms. I know, I used to do elementary for the majority of my career. So with elementary, I would use bathroom breaks as my instruction. I'm in the hallway and I'm quizzing the kids on basic recall facts. So I know you said you teach middle school math. So what kind of math problems can you give them as they're in the hallway? As they enter your classroom, stand at the door, give them a fact that they have to answer. I'm not talking about like their morning work or anything, or like they're activating. They could still have a warm up activity when they come and sit down. But when you're in the hallway, come in, give them a problem as they walk in, and try to use, that time can help as far as like maximizing instruction as they come and as they leave, tickets out the door. You almost have to like, think of every single second matters. But that is such a common problem, is time. And I actually had a teacher, and I know I shared this in the workshop. She's one of the teachers that I love to talk about, but she was actually really struggling with time, and she was taught special needs, and she was struggling with her time, and she was like, I just feel like there's never enough time. And after she went through the teaching by design program, she looked at instruction differently. And when you look at instruction differently, you're able to pick up time in other areas, because that's all you're really doing, is you're taking time away from something and adding it to somewhere else. But definitely the way you view standards and can help how you see time, because then you'll know, like, okay, I could save me this whole lesson and make this entire standard learning games, and then I only have to use my time over here. So definitely kind of like shuffle your time around. You said you would not be able to finish the year's lessons. You're in VA, but from Queens, New York. All the New Yorkers are in the house today. All New York is heavy today in the chat box. I see y'all. So I don't know if you said you would not be able to finish the year's lessons. Okay, so that is I guess because the county has 2 lessons, but y'all only have 55 lessons. Yeah, now see, that's hard. So now I get what you're saying. Like, there's more lessons than you have time. So maybe some of the lessons you can record. You can record the lessons, and then um you almost have to, like, I would say, because it's 2 hours and only 55 minutes, but think about what you actually have to teach, and the stuff that you don't actually have to physically teach, the kids can really do like games or things to kind of like teach themselves. You can do a quick little video, and asynchronous lesson where they're able to do it on their own, and then when they come to you, they're only using you for the things that they have to use you for. So you're a city trauma Title I school. I've been a Title I girl my whole entire career. So you do not have the 2 hours for that. Okay, so I understand where you're going from. So my suggestion, this is little old me, my educational consultant, little old me would say, look at the standards, determine what you actually have to physically teach the kids, make that into a video or an actual lesson in the classroom. So video or lesson. The simple things you can make it to a lesson, allow them to practice when they're not with you. And then there could be some kind of assessment or ticket out the door. Like, let's say if it's a homework assignment, maybe you have them do a Nearpod or Kahoot or something where they have to like turn it into you, and you can kind of see how they did it. I'm a huge Nearpod fan. Where are my Nearpod people at? I actually have an entire Nearpod tutorial on here. If you have never used Nearpod, that could help you tremendously. Um, because literally it has everything you need to do for Nearpod, and Nearpod has learning games. You can put videos, kids can do assessments on there. I mean, like, when I say everything, I mean every single thing is on there already. So I could definitely drop that link. Hold on, let me get it for you. I'm gonna drop that link just so that you have it, because Nearpod will probably help you for that. with that time issue. So you say you never thought of that. Woo! So I was helpful today. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. All right. So you said you would like to learn more about guided reading and small group instruction activities. Yes. What do you teach? What do you teach? I am the guided reading man. When I tell you I love guided reading. So what is that's so broad. It's so broad. I actually have an entire guided reading playlist that really just kind of breaks down guided reading, but just to give you an umbrella, guided reading is literally a time. It's a part of balanced literacy, but within guided reading, you provide students with decoding and comprehension strategies. So students are actually reading on their instructional level, but you're giving them the strategies they need. So for example, if a student was struggling with the word cat, you would then give them strategies of how they could decode the word cat. If they were struggling with what a cat meant in a text, then there are different strategies of how to determine what the word cat meant. So and I can drop that down below as well. So definitely check out this playlist that I'm about to give you. I'm trying to put it there we go, there we go, there we go. All right. I'm about to drop you down in the link, the guided reading playlist. It's an entire playlist full of like just walking you through all the different steps in guided reading. So literally from beginning to end. So I have it broken down into different videos so that you understand what to do with guided reading before, during, after guided reading. So you teach second grade. Okay, fairly new to this grade. Oh my goodness. Have you signed up for the workshop? You got to come to the workshop, especially if it's a new grade level. Come to the workshop. The link is down below in the description. I don't know if you were you on when I was explaining the workshop? But I definitely have a workshop coming up next Tuesday, literally all about how to make teaching reading easier. And you're perfect. So if you haven't already, the link is down below in the description to sign up. But definitely come so that you can at least get tips of how to make reading easier for you. So you have the tips. You also have the whole guided reading breakthrough. When it comes to activities, talking about there's really like kids when they come to you, it's all about getting them to be able to decode and comprehend on their own. But while you're doing guided reading, your other students are doing small group activities and things. And so you said thank you so much. Okay, good. So definitely come to the workshop. I would love to talk more with you and talk further of how to help you do that because that is my thing. So I'm like, you're in the perfect place. You're in the perfect place. So you want to learn more and be prepared for the following year. Yes, yes, yes. That's what this is all about. Yes. Um, so that's overall what guided reading is. It's literally just providing children with the strategies they need to decode and comprehend the text on their own. But you have to know those strategies. So so definitely watch that playlist because one of the videos in that playlist, I actually have my own decoding strategies. And I have 9 of them. So I go over how to use each one of them in the video. So make sure you look at that playlist because that I even teach my child. She's 2. Well, I started when she was 2. She's now 4. But when she was 2, I taught her how to use some of the strategies, and she was able to read decodable text at 2 years old simply by using some of those decoding strategies. So definitely become an expert at decoding strategies. I'll say that. Become an expert at both decoding and comprehension strategies. That's one. And if you're an expert at those, then you'll kind of know kind of how to do it. Watch that playlist. You can do this next year. Will be the best year. You're gonna be teaching second grade like a rock star. Nobody will know you're new to second grade. So I hope to see you at the workshop on Tuesday. So we can talk about this even further because guided reading is it's really simple. It's complicated, but it's really simple. It's I love it. I remember when I was teaching 5th grade. I didn't even remember this. One of my friends told me, she was like, I remember when you were teaching it and you were like, I wish I could just do guided reading small groups all day long. And she was like, you said that. And I was like, really? I said that? She was like, yes, you did. Because planning for them Once you get the hang of it, that's something. Remember, I saw you say you're awesome. You're so excited. Yeah, I'm excited for you too. I'm excited to get even further with you. But the great thing is, I talked about earlier on here, finding things that can run on autopilot that can make your life even easier. We talked about in tip number 3 how to have a systematic instruction and systematic systems that run. Well, you talk about guided reading, that can become one of those. I know that's something I teach my students in the Teaching by Design program. I teach them literally how reading can become systematic, and you don't have to spend all your personal time planning. Like, oh my goodness, we have to put ourselves, and this is a hard lesson that I learned. I was that burnt out teacher. I was that person that was literally teaching at the school building until the janitor shut the school. Do I have any of those out here? Do I have any people that have been locked in the school building? Anybody? Me and my one of my teacher besties, I call her. We were locked in the school building. We had to call the principal. Can you please tell the janitor to come back? But if it wasn't for going through those days, then I wouldn't have went through the season of learning how to like make everything systematic, so that didn't have to be me. And I do not want that to be you, because I see the burnout teacher all the time, and I see myself in the burnout teacher, and I don't want that. Like, because now I experienced the freedom of having a work life balance. I've experienced the freedom of having my weekdays. I've experienced the freedom of being able to leave at a decent hour before it's nighttime. I've experienced that freedom, and I want the same for you guys. So definitely check out the free workshop. I will teach you how to work smarter and not harder when it comes to reading instruction. And like I said earlier, if you just teach math, you can still use the same, concepts in your math instruction. But I will be specifically talking about reading. But there's things like guided reading, read alouds that we can learn, how to do this thing on autopilot. Woo, woo. I'm all about autopiloted system. You said you're awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you in the workshop once again. June June 21st, 7 p.m. If for the live workshop, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is. Eastern Standard Time. Well, thank y'all so much. I look forward to, you guys have a lot of things to watch. You have the guided reading playlist, you have a Nearpod playlist. So I look forward. You have a workshop to sign up for. What? So I look forward to seeing you. Make sure you guys tune in, because next week I have an exciting video coming out. I cannot wait. We talked about balanced literacy, right? So the video next week is balanced literacy versus science of reading. I am so excited. It's been such a controversial topic nowadays, and I put a lot of effort and energy into this video, and you guys are going to see. Tomorrow, actually, make sure you come, because you're gonna vote on which thumbnail you like the best. So definitely check out science reading versus balanced literacy. It's on. There's a big controversial issue, because like guided reading is a part of balanced literacy, and now there's a whole new wave to science of reading. So like, which one is actually the best? So we are going to definitely go head to head with that. You said you just signed up for the workshops. Woo woo! Yeah. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. You said thank you for the playlist. Woo woo. Well, I will see you guys next Tuesday. Woo woo. I'm so excited. I'm gonna have to go down here more, because I love being on here with y'all. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, make you guys got some videos to watch. You guys got some video to watch. So I'll see you guys in the next video.